competition, everyone's competing for your singer-songwriter creativities. You form harmonies with loves, waves and waning, sing operas in Italian, songs in Japanese and French, and when your originals are presented, you share that you called every open mic in Austin, and you'll be featured when your album is finally released soon. You've only been writing poetry and songs for 3 months. 14 songs on your album, you've already written 20, and you cover Amy Winehouse's Valerie perfectly, as well as Skinny Love and others you admire, enough to pitch perfect your self-taught keyboard skills. You're at the start of a rowing career. Intern at Dell, met your match at Torchy's Tacos. How very Austin you are, how unique and precious you are. The future will fill your tip jar to overflowing. The open mics like this will listen here in the door. You are the future, you of only 20 years. 1 million penguins. Does anyone remember paperbacks? Apparently their proliferation was due to a paper shortage after World War II, or was it an attempt to get an armed forces reading? No matter, noir lives. And Pulp Fiction means more than Quentin Tarantino. My best memory is penguin paperbacks, when I first encountered beat poets, Liverpool poets, worlds away from antipathy and silences. My eyes scanned over and over again Miroslav Pavlov, Arthur Rimbaud, Marianne Moore, Christina Rossetti, Aesop, Horace, Heraclitus. In fact, my real education was via paperback. Of course I read the classics from Sons and Lovers, Lady Chatterley's Love to Two Satanic Verses, but with those perfect pearls of poetry that have shone like pale moons over diamond star sky sign. It's impossible to have poetry in 2019, and it's impossible, scientifically speaking, for a bee to fly. Did you know that? Science, beware. Winged sonnet. Scientifically, your tiny wings cannot sustain your busy flight. Yet here you go again, pollinating all our food crops. 1/3 of us rely upon your tiny winged exceptions to the gravity of declining bee populations. Insects are dying out, just as we decide to eat them. Huge elephants and giraffes become threatened species. Rats, ants, cockroaches outlast the blast like sharks and crocodiles. Something reptilian assumes primordial shapes and shifts, morphs, immune to our mutating self-life. Bees, birds, butterflies all teach wisdom of the temporary. All winged creatures carry the weight of harmony and beauty. Glimpses. River I knew was young and wild, now slow and stolid, settled down deep in darkest sand and shadows. I do not need to ask her about River. Just immerse myself in her mysteries, anonymous as pilgrimage. What passes through her like fish and light, movement, motion, all those follows, fellow, blind, all change, slower now, deeper, weeds and dams in Austin, artificial lake with another name. I met a man who gave away his world. He was the happiest man I ever met. First, he gave away all he owned, his time, his energies. Next, everything he ever knew or remembered. After his past had gone, he gave away planning a future. Everything was momentary, like Magister Ludi or the Dice Man. He lived as Eitel in the Deer Park. He lived as in a novel he was writing. Even when he said his script was still in other people's hands, he would not give away the publishing rights, nor a random chance he might be in a country song from Nashville dancing at the Broken Spoke. Yeah. Okay, last one. There is a path, even when there is no path, there is a path, self-evident as your breath and life, with eyes and ears as witnesses. George said it well, within us and without us. Lovers go on, experiences, everything observed and we are witnesses, we miss most of this. We stumble daily, drink nightly, work badly. This is our first remembrance, that we have forgotten everything, and we are learning as we glow, with all the friends and allies we know and do not know. This journey tonight is this moment now. You're in the show. You are the show. We know and do not know. You are the audience and the critics. You're the time you'll use tonight and all times lost tonight. There is always, ever, only now, and you and everyone around you knows this too. We've just forgotten everything. Cheers.